So this is our GE Profile microwave oven, and it just recently started doing something new. The fan comes on, the circulating fan inside, the cooling fan, comes on whenever you open the door. Close the door, fan goes off. Open the door, fan comes on. Really not supposed to do that. So, how do you fix it? First thing is, take the top cover off. There's two Phillips screws, one here and one here. And then you slide this to the left. Now that's the hard part that you don't know if you haven't done this before. And this one is broken because, not because of that, but because we dropped a heavy can on it one day and it cracked it. So I'm buying a new one. This is a really expensive item. Instead of being able to buy just this back piece, this black plastic grate, you have to buy the stainless steel cover and the whole mechanism, and it's $100 and some, $138 or something. At any rate, you can see that it has a little ear here that has a slot in it, and that little slot slides into this slot. There are three of those, one here, one here, and one here. No, four actually, one on the right. Well, the middle one is still here, the left one is still here, the right middle one and the right far one is broken off. The tabs that screw in with the Phillips screws on the top are both broken, and so it doesn't really stay on there very well anymore, so we're replacing this whole assembly. That's just ancillary to the other problem. So that's the first step in getting the microwave apart. So our parts arrived from GE Appliance. Well, it's AppliancePros.com, I think, that I buy my parts from. And we get genuine GE replacement parts. We got two of the switches. You can see. By the way you tell these switches are good is you click them. And if they don't click like that, they're not good. Anyway, so this was the original part. This is the new part, and the difference is, as you can see, they've modified the tabs. So this is the old broken tab. It didn't have that metal piece in there. I have company this morning, and on both sides, and that's what breaks off on the top. Also, the tabs on the bottom that I was talking about, these little tabs right here, these little four ears that slide in. When you put it up there, you slide it to the left, they also break off. And the way they break off usually is people like me that don't know how to take it off, and you think maybe it's a clip, and you pull straight out on it, it doesn't work. So you do have to slide it to the left to get it to come out, but I'll show you how that's done. Anyway, so you can see we're missing two tabs on this end. Both the top tabs are broken off. And the color match looks pretty good. I peeled the plastic back, and it looks to be about the same as that. Sometimes the stainless doesn't match. If it was a problem, you could switch to stainless because it just unscrews with the three screws in the back, and you could switch the panels. But for now, I think I'm going to put it on the way it is. So you can see it just slides up and unclips. You can let it hang. These are Torx 20 screws. Torx screwdriver. That's one of the things they do about these that I'm not really thrilled about, because a lot of people don't have Torx drivers at home. Anyway, you can go get a little set because they're putting them on everything these days. So two Torx 20 screws in here, and then the switch retaining plate back here. You have to slide it up to get it unclipped. Sorry, I'm probably not aiming in the right direction here. Slide it up to get it unclipped. There's two little ears that it also slides down on before you screw it back down. And these are the two ears, one ear here and one ear at the top. then it reveals the switches. So we have a door switch here. This is the main switch, I believe, for the door control, and this is the second switch. So they sent us 2 switches for $20, and the way you get them out is you depress this little pin. I can't do it with one hand, I don't think. You depress this little ear here that holds the switches in. So there's one there, there's a little white tab right there. You push it up and slide the switch back, and then the same thing for that. They're all 3 the same way. I need 2 hands to do that, so I'll be back. So after you depress the tab, you pull it back, the little clicker will kind of hold it up. You just sort of pull it down and it'll slide past that. And this one you can see, when you push it, it doesn't make any noise. As compared to like one of these, I can't do it without taking them out. You push it and it makes noise. So here's our new switch, and you can feel it click. Here's our old switch. Nothing. Just slides in. You can feel the spring retention, but it doesn't click. So that's not working. There's 2 switches in here. There's one on the bottom right here. It just slides off the tab once you remove the switch. There's one on the top that's exactly the same switch. And then there's one in the middle that is a different switch. And so it's in the diagram. I'll put the diagram on here and you'll see it. I hope I can get it on there. And anyway, so that's how you tell. I'm only going to replace the one switch, although I probably should go ahead and replace both of them, but I'm going to hang on to it, and we'll see if we need it at some point in the future. Alright, so we're double checking to make sure we have the right switch. It clicks. It simply slides into the harness like that, and then it slides into its position on the bracket here, the switch bracket. I can do this with one hand, like this. Just kind of tilt it up and slide it in. Tilt it down, yep, that's it. There's this little other piece that pushes it down when the bracket closes. Anyway, so that's in its spot. And now we just wiggle this thing back in here, hopefully without kind of hard to do with one hand, but we'll let that hang for a second. And we'll wiggle this thing back in here. There you go. Like that. As I said, you slide it up on the ears. There's an ear, and there's an ear. Put it down, and it gets your holes in the right location. Put our Torx screws on. Rather than leave this thing hang for a long time, we can put that back up now and get it lined up. Slide it back down. It's all on. Clicks back into place. And then we'll put the tighten up our Torx screws. Do this whole job in 5 minutes with 2 hands, and 10 minutes with one. Put our third screw back in. Alright, and before we put our cover back on, we'll plug it in and test it. Alright, so before we put the cover back on, we're going to test it. I have a cup of water in there. We'll put it in. Hit the quick button, and there it goes. It works. And this little gear here swings out, and the cover opens up for the vent, and then it swings closed, and we'll put that back on. As I said, I'm not going to show you this again, but you put the vent on here, you slide it to the right, you catch it in this tab, this tab, this tab, this tab hole. The ears catch in there, slide it to the right, put the 2 screws in, and you're done.